Hello and welcome to another episode of Squirtified Engineering. I'm Sprutis, and if you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing so you can stay up to date with all my different projects. In today's episode, we will be working on this again. TimpaRS Nissan 200 SX S13 with the what?
M52.
Yeah, M52 M52TU engine. And he have not really been slacking off since the last episode, so there is a lot to catch up on. So let's start at the rear and move forward. So here you see the spare wheel holder, and that's the piece that we welded back in the last episode. So since then he has painted it with this polyurethane epoxy protective like this, the thing that you see on flatbeds and
the
bed liner stuff. So now this is durable and nice. The battery mount is back. We have welded some stuff underneath to hold it in place, so it's not just this plastic cover. And then we have these holes. We have one in each corner of the rear subframe, and that's to get to the mounts. I'm not sure if we talked about that in the last episode, but if we look underneath, we see a fuel tank and then a special mount, because for some reason the car has grown a bit, so we need to extend the belt a bit. It's getting a bit rear heavy in this case, but underneath you see a subframe, and those are not the original the original subframe screws. Those are actually for holding ATMs to the floor. So M16 that are adapted into the stock subframe screw, because they are quite wide up top. They also have a splined end that is on the top end, and so this is some high quality M16 studs that are welded and screwed in place, and then some polyurethane bushings, and of course everything is painted, looking really pretty. And in the wheel wells we have the brakes in place. He's also using this type of wheel spacer with a 5-stud conversion. So this car originally came with 4 studs, but now it's 5, just so that he can fit those nice wheels. And also in order to fill up the wheel well, which is quite a bit bigger than stock, as it's a wide body. And let's see if we can, here in the middle of the picture you see a nylon braided Teflon hose. So what he's done is he welded some nuts to the underside of the car in order to mount the P-clamps for the hoses. So AN8 for feed and AN6 for return, and it's going above the subframe here in the rear. The differential and prop shaft is also in place, as well as new brake lines. Really nice and almost ready to be driven. And when we go up front, you see that not much appears to have been changed, but the fuel lines are coming up here in the rear of the engine bay. And we have the feed going into the fuel rail. So it runs here. He's got a new adapter in order to have AN8 from the fuel rail to the fuel pressure regulator, which will be sitting somewhere here, so that the only pressure control is in the fuel pressure regulator, and then this will be the return, I guess.
That will be removed.
So you will, yeah. This is
rubber one.
Yeah. So not a good hose if you want to run ethanol. And here in Sweden we do have at least or around 10% ethanol in our fuel, and it's quite aggressive. So to be on the safe side, he's running Teflon hoses everywhere. And these really nice fittings that we bought from Speeding. These are also swivel ends, so even though you have tightened the hose, you can rotate it. You can see that by this tiny little hole. In there is a small spring which is in a track on this end, so it can rotate. And that's a big plus. Then you don't really build in any tension into the hoses. So what are we going to do today then? Well, we need to get the car out, and the first thing we need to do then is to finish what's been going on underneath. So mostly the fuel system. So we will finish that basically around the fuel tank. Then he can do a bolt check in the rear, and we can take it down, flip it around, because the room up front is not a lot, so it's much nicer if we can move it to that end. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, or what Tim is going to do, and I will just be helping out. Nu fick jag inte med borrningen.
Nej.
Drill it.
Det var nog lika bra. Nu går jag inte igenom tiden. Fan, men kom Mark. Ja. Det har hänt värre saker. Just.
Glasögon.
Säkerhet nummer 1.
Safety number 1.
Det var nog ingen fara.
Oh my god.
Shit, vad mycket spån det blev. Mm. Men som tur var så har vi en trasa, så det är nog ingen fara. Och där, vad är det här?
6.
Och det ska vi köra på
Där.
längst till vänster. Och så var det 8,5 på en.
Ja, 8,5.
Du sa 8,5. När börjar jag akta upp nu?
Alltså, 8 var ju ditt.
Ja, men du sa ju 8,5.
5,5. Den här är 14.
Ja. Är det 6 här?
Ja.
Ja, bra. Då
Det
kör
är
vi
för
den.
jorddagsskiten.
Nu var det den 6. Nu behöver ni inte göra ett smack.
Nej, men då har vi fått bort färgen där.
Stämmer.
Så. Har du 14? Du har en stegborr. Hade du inte det?
Jo, den ligger där.
Ja,
Rakt framför näsan.
Oh, du har 14 också. Men... ska jag köra med dammsugen medan du borrar?
Ja.
Vad gjorde du?
Min värdefulla pommack ska inte gå åt i onödan. Det var 14 på 5. Vad går han till? 20.
14. Det går ju sådär.
Men då ska vi epoxia fast den här istället?
Nej, vi sätter fast den i plåten.
Ja, just det.
Och sen epoxia.
Ja, just det.
Så det ska ju vara så. Och så kommer den.
Inga problem.
Den
Inga problem.
nej.
Du kommer igenom. Just det, man har ständigt skriva ner det.
Vad sa du?
Kör det hela tiden så här. Oh my god. Det går ju fort när man har kul liksom. Lite spån och sånt.
Perfect.
Gött.
So we are working on the fuel pump hanger and more precisely the lid to that. So the idea is to use one of these for the feed to the fuel pump. We will connect the ground to here with a screw. Then we will have a pipe here, this one, and we will run basically only the wires for the level sensor and the warning light through that, and then here we will have a grounding screw, and then we will have a plate covering everything. So this connection will tie it down as well as this screw, and we will seal it off with epoxy, and the pipe will be filled with epoxy as well. So that's what we're doing.
Det var inte riktigt.
Nej, den går fortfarande emot.
Ja, men
Du behöver slipa av hörnet.
hörnet, det.
Ja. Alltså den ska kopplas dit. Så ta en på den längden. Ta en millimeter.
Skruva ner så. Inte slut.
Nej.
Frågan om det här om det verkligen är där. Jaha, det är liksom där i hörnet du tar i färgen. Här uppe. Jawohl.
Kan vatten, kliva alkohol,
Skriva alkohol. Trinken keine Wasser. Skriva alkohol.
Alltså tar du ens någonting?
Men skojar du eller?
Nej, vart slipar du egentligen? Slipar du på andra hörnet?
Men jag är för fan...
Du har ju inte tagit något.
Men fan är det helt jävla... Vad fan är det här då?
Ja, men du tar ju på fel sida.
Det gör ju i helvete heller.
Jo, det är ju på den sidan.
Men du sa ju för fan jag ska...
Ja, på den bredden så ska
Du, fan.
Hallå!
Helt jävla... Du vet, den är ju mycket tjockare där för den här jävla kanten är ju där.
Ja.
Men det är ju för fan en designgrej. Men du verkar inte riktigt förstå. Jag har ju tagit bort hur mycket som helst. Det är ju inte det beror på. Det är inte samma vinkel på den här jävla vinkeln som det är här. Så hur fan, hur mycket, jag kan ju kapa hur jävla liksom... Vi kör bara den här, smacka dit skiten med en jävla tång och sen bara feta på den. Fan! Blir förbannad. Vart är... Vet ni så här? Jag ska bara spruta gnister där.
Det ser här.
Mulle. Ja.
Den behöver någon där.
Vilken andra? Den vita?
Mm.
Nej.
Den kommer. Den blir typ.
Vilken ska vara uppe? Är det så här den ska vara?
Mm. Nu ska vi göra så.
Just det, för den ena ska ju...
Men det känns dumt. För om den här skulle... Så har du...
Det är bättre att en går igenom.
Nej, men den kommer ju inte kunna...
Vad händer då?
Den täcker inte.
Den går inte igenom helt.
Nej.
Vi kör en PTF-bricka också. Just det. Det där känns ju som att det blir tajtast. Men då byter vi plats på...
Men då får vi använda en sån där teflonbricka.
Ja, men då får den bli på insidan.
Ja.
Den ska vara så. Nej, först den lilla. Sen den. Sen igenom. Sen möter den här upp. Då ska det vara en gummi på...
Nej.
Vart är den stora gummi då? Titta på ritningen.
Men jag har stoppat dit stora gummi.
Nej. Ska den vara...
Den ska vara där.
Jaha, den ska vara här. Så. Så då blir det på ovansidan av gummi sitter. Och sen så den här. Jag behöver inte några läsglasögon när jag ska äta.
Ja, fast den har vandrat upp mer på kanten här då. Jag slipar av den lite till. I have seen that many of my viewers are watching from Ukraine. So I would just like to take this moment to thank you. I appreciate the support, and I also want you to know that you have our support. We feel with you. So yeah, that's all I can say. So the current status of our adapter is that we have a plate. It's cut to pieces. We have a pipe that we would run the cables through. We will fill it with epoxy. We will glue this with epoxy like this. We have this connector for the feed for the fuel pump, which will push it down towards the lid. We will also have an extra connection here for ground. and that will be a normal M6 screw, just going through, and hopefully that will be enough. But so when we get one hole to line up, another one is not really lining up, so we need to take care of that. So a bit more drilling and fixing, I guess. So everything is now prepared for gluing, and we will be using this Loctite power epoxy metal. And we need to mix it, and we will first install this one, align it with these Teflon bushings, and then lock it down with this screw. So yeah. So we think that we have successfully installed this adapter plate. So hopefully the pipe is airtight now. He will have to be careful when he installs some cable connectors on these cables, but it's anyway just for the level. We will add an extra nut to this one and some thread locker on that, just to make sure that this screw doesn't fall down. And then we can add the wire and an extra nut. Here we will just use the nut that came with it, and we will undo this nut and connect the cable. On the grounding screw we do not need to do that because we will use everything as a ground. And in case we need to improve the ground, then we have the possibility to directly connect that to a better place, since there is rubber between the fuel tank and the chassis of the car. And here someone is very focused, protective glasses on. He's trying to create his own gasket for the lid. Very nice. We will see if he succeeds.
I feel very unprepared, but this is the outro for the video. Slava Ukraine.
That's it?
That's it for now.
Okay, so this episode is over. We managed to basically do what we set out to do, creating the possibilities to have electrical connections for the fuel pump. So that's a big plus. The epoxy, it hardens in or it dries in 5 minutes and completely harden after 24 hours. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Stay safe. Take care. Bye bye.